Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing. Yo, yo.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. Your being here is a source of great comfort to Lori, to Jacob, to family. And we hope that the experience of being together and sharing the words of our tradition and the words that will flow from the heart, words of tribute to Lily and all that she was and all that she meant to so many, will be as well an anchor in this time of so many of us feeling so very adrift. We begin with the words of Psalm 121, Hebrew and English.
A song of ascent. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help is from Adonai, who made the heavens and the earth. Adonai will not let your foot slip. Your guardian does not slumber. For the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your protector. Adonai is the shield on your right hand. The sun will not strike you down by day, nor the moon by night. Adonai will protect you from every evil and watch over you. Adonai will watch over your coming and your going from this time forth and forever and ever. At times like these, when there are no words, we can turn to the words of our tradition, the words of those who came before us, in the words of those today who give new voice to our ancient texts. And in that spirit, I offer this prayer by Alden Solovey. Ancient One, send light into this darkness and hope into this despair. Send music into this emptiness and healing into these aching hearts. Healer of the brokenhearted, give us air, a breath to give oxygen to the anguish within, breath to give voice to the howl in our hearts, breath to set us free. We are undone, crushed by silent sorrow, bereft by loneliness and loss, still yearning for healing, still yearning for love, still yearning for you. Ancient One, send light into this darkness and hope into this despair. Send music into this emptiness and healing into these aching hearts. Amen.
To learn about, to celebrate, to capture what we might in Lily's all too brief but beautiful life, we turn to several individuals who will share thoughts from the heart with us at this time. And Lori, we will begin with you.
Today we gather to remember my daughter, Lily Yontef, a young woman whose life touched us all in profound ways. There are no words that can truly capture the depth of our loss or the hole in our hearts. At just 21 years old, she had a lifetime ahead of her, dreams yet to be realized, and moments yet to be lived. Adventures to be taken, and relationships yet to be cherished. From the very beginning, Lily was determined. She was focused and driven. No challenge was too great for her. She set goals for herself with a fierce passion, and when she committed to something, she gave it her all. Whether it was school or her music or anything she cared about, she attacked life with a heart and intensity. She was such a talented musician. From a very young age, she played piano at Carnegie Hall. And she was so little. She just went up there and did it. Wasn't nervous or anything. And she was the lead tenor saxophone at Hall High School in Pops and Jazz, winning many, many awards for her music. Lily has always been academically gifted in school and excelled in her honors classes at Hall. Her smile lit up a room, and her spirit was one of determination and passion. When it came to her music, she would practice for hours and hours for auditions, and she would spend countless hours composing all of her original pieces. She had a gift for the world, even if it was for a short time. She wanted to publish things, make a record, and it never happened. She was a perfectionist who was always hard on herself. She was such a critic. She'd go up there, in a concert and nail a solo, but she always would come down and I would say, "That was such an amazing job." And she's like, "It was okay." No, it wasn't. It was amazing. She just sometimes didn't see in herself what everyone else saw in her. an amazing young woman who had so much to offer those who had the privilege to know her in this world. She had big dreams of becoming a professional jazz musician, dreams already set in motion at Berklee College of Music in Boston. You know, she decided to make a change, which isn't easy, and she did it. She was doing it. And though she struggles with moments of doubt, that determination never wavered. There were times when she was hard on herself, times when she held herself to impossible standards. She expected a lot from herself, but even with that inner pressure that she put on herself, she kept pushing forward, trying to be the best version of herself she could be. What many of us may not have fully realized or understood was that beneath her strength was a heart that longed to be understood, a soul that was still finding its way. But what mattered most was that she kept going, she kept dreaming, she kept striving, and she kept trying to carve out a future that was uniquely hers. Lily was a young woman full of life, full of possibility, and full of contradictions. She was complex, passionate, and deeply thoughtful. And though she wasn't always able to fully embrace the love and support around her, it was always there, always. We were always there for her, always. To know her was to know someone who was truly unique, someone who wasn't afraid to stand out, to be herself, even when it wasn't easy. She always stood up for what she believed in. She was unapologetic in her pursuit of what mattered to her. She wasn't perfect, but she was real. And that is something we can all appreciate and hold on to. And as we say goodbye, we don't want to focus on the loss. Instead, we want to remember who she was, a daughter who made her mark on the world, a friend who brought people together, a sister who inspired, and a soul whose journey, though brief, was filled with meaning. She was a true leader. She led so many different bands. The world lost her far too soon, but we will carry her with us. Her ambition, her energy, and her undeniable spirit. Lily, you were and always will be deeply loved. You showed us how to live with passion, how to chase our dreams, and how to never stop striving, even when things feel difficult. We will keep your memory alive by living with the same determination and heart that you lived with. I hope you know how deeply you were loved and how much you will always be missed. And while we may no longer see your face or hear your voice or your beautiful music, or feel your presence in the same way, know that you will never be forgotten. You will always be with us. You will remain in our hearts forever. And your spirit will guide us through the days ahead. Rest in peace, Lily, my dear daughter. I love you always, and we will carry you with us forever. And we still will have a relationship with you, just different. Thank you.
There is no more piercing sound than a mother's lament. Thank you, Lori. Cantor Joseph Ness had the privilege of mentoring and working with and teaching Lily, sharing music in so many ways over the years. At this time, some words from Cantor Ness.
I wrote down some notes, but I'm not sure I'll read them all. The most painful thing for a musician, and I do see some musicians out there, is to say, and the music stopped. And the music stopped. But it's true that I looked up to Lily, to Noah, at the time that we worked together, always with the intent of collaboratively, and then spiritually by the collaboration, making meaningful music. It seems I know this special soul since before inception. I don't exactly remember the specific time, but at a very young age, I noticed when this kid was 5 or 6, hung around the piano, and I remember that this kid would come to me and say, "Oh, look what I can play now." You know, he's studying, and what was incredible was the look on this face, that beautiful face. And I, who like to think of myself as dedicated and a dedicated musician, I was really inspired by this drive to get under the text and see what, under the music, and see what's under there. What does it really, really mean? How do you take a phrase and make it pop, And she had to express this personal feeling through notes. And there were countless times that I felt that we didn't need to speak to communicate with words, with platitudes, etc. But there was an unspoken bond, a trust that transcended verbalisms. I remember the look on Noah Lilly's face when this child was a part of a recital in Carnegie Recital Hall in New York. And I remember seeing him after the recital, and that did I do okay? It wasn't like, oh, I was really good, but did I do okay? She was always working to make the music speak. I remember everything's with real sadness right now, but our working together to make music for this special children's choir that we had as a group, and I remember him composing music for it, and it was a Enkelohenu that he wrote, and I still have it. I remember a ballet that I wrote, and he came to me after the ballet was done on this stage. That he said, "Wow, how did you put the percussion in there?" And he wanted to know more, and it was so. And the music stopped. So, and then he would come to me when he went to high school and started arguing with me because he had this teacher that would tell him about the beauties of jazz. And he was devoted to this teacher. And that was inspiring to me too, that after my working with him, he went on and he was finding his voice in an idiom that I love. It's not my ground idiom, but I love that idiom. And I even wrote some jazz pieces, as awkward as they might be, but he was part of it. I hear, I wrote duets for him with, I remember the other person, and he was so much a part of what I did here. What a pity. Forgive my being upset. It's just so profoundly gifted. The rest of this child's life provided challenges. There's no question about that. I know him as a musician, and for that, I'm blessed. And I just one last thing. Thank God that he had Lori and Jacob. We did a Friday night service here. I remember some of you may have been here for that. we had Alex Nakimovsky play piano, and so we transcribed some standard jazz tunes for the service. And obviously, I was a little afraid of it was Noah at the time, but of Lily, because so serious about what we did. If I made a mistake, and somebody said, "Oh, no, you don't do," and I loved it because it's about going over the boundary and discovering new worlds, and this child did it. And then I remember asking Noah at the time, because I knew this child before he transitioned, so forgive me for saying Noah. But so say, what about? I think we need a drummer. That's what. And then he suggested Jacob, and I said, "Is he good?" He said, "He's good. He's good." So he's good. He is good. So in the final, I would say that Lori, Jacob, and Lily were a kind of a trio. We're kind of a jazz trio that would often make the music of life together. Lily's rock. Zichronah Livracha, may her name be as a blessing. And the music stopped. But it will go on because I intend in my life to continue. And certainly Lily is a great part of that, great part of my life. And we march on. We make music. We make music.
Thank you, Cantor Ness, so very much. Two high school friends, Ben and Will, we would like to invite you to share some thoughts at this time.
Hi, I'm Ben.
I'm Will.
I met Lily. I can go first. I can go first. So, yeah, I met Lily in 6th grade, and we quickly connected through music. I'm a fellow saxophone player, and she was also a saxophone player, as you all know, and she was phenomenal. I was in jazz band with her throughout, from like 7th grade all the way to all throughout high school, and she was always just unshakable. One thing I really admired about her was her confidence, not just through music, but in everything. Like, I never thought she was nervous whenever she went up to take a solo, which is a really hard thing to do, as all musicians here know. She never looked nervous. She just did it, and I want to carry that confidence of hers with me for the rest of my life.
So I met Lily in elementary school, and I was friends with her throughout middle school, high school, and she's one of my closest friends throughout that time. We would play games together, like video games, like we would hang out. We kind of had like a weekly schedule, like Wednesdays we would like go to Moe's, sit down in Blueback Square. I guess like the little things, like it was like a routine kind of, like we kept up like for like a long while. And like we kept in contact like throughout college, even though we all went our separate ways. We all had our own dreams that we wanted to accomplish, and I feel like that we still like had that strong bond like throughout that time. And I guess it makes me appreciate like the routine that we had, but also like the ways that we were different, that we kept going our different ways, but also that we felt close to each other. And I guess it really makes me appreciate the times that we had together, all of us.
I have one more thing. I have a story I would like to tell. So I was in a combo with Lily, and I think everyone in the combo is actually here. My brother David, Jacob, Harry, Avery. And I remember there's one period of time when Lily was really, really wanting to play giant steps, which as you all know, some of you know, is an extremely hard song, and like I couldn't play it. I just bowed out at that part. But I remember I was talking to David about it a few days ago, and he was like, he had to print out a bass line and just memorize how to play the bass line because he couldn't like comprehend the chords. But I remember Lily actually could play it, and she was like, what, 14, 15 at the time, and she was so determined to learn like what people like name as like one of the hardest jazz songs ever, and she actually did it, which I was so impressed by. And honestly, I didn't really comprehend how difficult it was until later. But that just like showed how when she put her mind to something, she could just do it, even if it is one of the hardest jazz songs ever. And yeah, I'll always remember that about her. She was just able to do whatever she wanted if she put her mind to it. All right, thank you.
Thank you. And representing some friends from Berkeley, Chris, if you would come forward at this time, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Beller. I am a Berkeley graduate, 2023. I heard about the news last night, and I knew that I would be making the drive. Looking at the calendar, it is the 2nd. I played music with Lily on the 27th. It's a shock. As you can tell from the passion of the individual that just spoke, Lily was an incredible musician. I've played with a lot of saxophone players in my time, and she was definitely one of the best ones. The show that I played with her was the first time that I personally music directed a group for my own pleasure, not school. I'm usually just an instrumentalist, and as soon as my partner, June, had told me that Lily would be interested in playing with us, I absolutely had to jump on it. Playing with her was a joy. Her professionalism is unmatched. It's hard to find musicians with that kind of passion, skill, and dedication. Today's the 2nd, and 5 days ago, I was talking with her, and she seemed excited for the next semester. I know for a fact that if all of her friends from Berkeley could be here, they would. Winter break means that many people are off at home. Many people are working, taking winter jobs, or spending time with family. And I know that one of her very close friends, Izzy, spent a lot of time yesterday making sure that people who would be able to make it know that this is happening. And I'm one of the lucky people that had the resources to be able to come down here on such short notice. Playing with her, I know that this is an immense loss for not only the Berkeley community, but also the video game jazz community in Boston and eventually New York, as I'm sure she would end up. And it is a loss for all of her friends and family. I want everyone here to remember Lily as a phenomenal female jazz musician. And had she lived for longer, I'm confident that she would be well known and a household name. From her friends who can't be here and myself, we mourn the loss and send all of our love to her. Thank you.
Come together? Okay. Some additional words.
This won't be long, sorry. I also was playing with Lily on the 27th. I just wanted to tell a short story about how over the summer Lily had asked me to be a part of her band. I play piano and bass and have the same really specific genre interests that she does. But I couldn't at the time because my mental health and physical health were so poor I could barely get out of bed. But she had asked, and I told her I couldn't do it then, but that I would try to get better so that I could. And through the summer I still followed the band's group chat. I went to their performance, and during the summer I still had the MP3 she had sent to the potential band members of her original compositions. I still can't really describe what it was like to hear them for the first time. I don't know, other musicians or artists probably get it, and people in other professions and crafts, but there's this really strange, not in a bad way, a strange moment when you hear something and you're like, did I not make this? Or like, it just sounds like a better version of what I would want to do. And that happened when I listened to the demos. So I was pretty devastated to not be able to be there for the rehearsals. But I went to the show, and before the next semester started, I still was really interested in the music and didn't want those compositions to be lost. And so I reached out to Lily just to jam a couple times before the semester starts. So just piano and saxophone. But so I came in, I had learned her music. I'd already learned it already, but I'd already learned how to play it solo piano style. And, she came in and I asked if we could play one of her compositions called Shadow of Doubt. And, I just started trying my best to put all the parts together other than the lead. And it's been one of the most spiritually and emotionally fulfilling experiences ever, to just be alone in the practice room without even an audience, to play that music in a way that neither of us were really prepared that the other was gonna do. The shared laughs I won't forget. And I'm kind of in shock up on the stage because I'm not good at being in front of people. But it's devastating. I had finally gotten better enough just recently to ask if she wanted to, revive the project because I was ready to play in it. I really didn't want the compositions to be lost. But so I don't know what I'll do now, but I just felt like sharing it in front of people just to back up what everyone said. The compositions are incredible. I'll be keeping them. And yeah, her music's definitely affected me without a shadow of a doubt, unlike the song title. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Lily's first piano teacher, Elaine, we would like to invite at this time to share some thoughts.
I'm Elaine Silbereis. I had the very good fortune to become Lily's piano teacher when she was 7 years old. Once in a while in my lengthy career now as a piano teacher, a student walks into your studio for the first time, and I have this little saying that hits me. Oh my, what have we here? That was certainly true of Lily. She came having already done a lot of experimenting and playing on her own, almost you could feel like from day one. Filled with a beautiful face of joy and wonder about the sounds that we were exploring and that I was explaining to her from the beginning. I didn't dare make remarks without actually writing them down today. So here we go. We worked together until her 8th grade year. During that time, she twice received the Excellence Award from the Royal Conservatory of Music in Toronto. That's a big deal. What this means is that she achieved the highest score in Connecticut and what they call the New England and New York region for her examination at her level that the conservatory gives each year. So she was invited to play in the Celebration of Excellence recital at Carnegie Hall in New York City 2 times. That's a big deal. What kind of piano student was Lily? Here's my answer to that question. When Lily was in 3rd grade, she began studying the Clementi Sonatina in C major. During her lesson, she looked at me and she said, this is an important piece. I said, yes. It's really your first important piece. Are there more? She asked. I said, oh yes. I answered, there's a lot more. I want to learn them, she said. To each lesson, Lily brought a fierce independence. At times, this could be challenging. Above all, she brought a curiosity, a wonder, an openness, and a spirit of adventure that inspired me. Always, she brought the question. Always, she lived in the question, is there more? And she went for it. You know, the great thing about music is that there is always more. We musicians, Lily most included, spend endless hours lavishing painstaking efforts on the most minute of details. Nothing is unimportant. But we do that always against the backdrop, really, of infinity, always participating in what the ancients called the infinite, eternal, cosmic music of the spheres. Lily engaged in this. She lived it. The piece of music is performed, the last notes, and the audience applauds. The piece is over, but the music goes on. The song goes on, and it goes on and on, cosmically forever. I can't forget this, as I always will think of Lily. What can all this mean as we gather this afternoon in our grief, and in our courage, and in our love? We are shattered by a moment that for us must always be mysterious. So much courage is now required from us. Can we find the courage to ask, and to ask in the face of this eternity, to ask for the presence of infinity? And can young Lily's very important question, always adventuresome, is there more? Is there more? Even today, is there more? And I think, yes. With the tenderness of love and the embrace of eternity's answer and Lily's own answer, there is lots more. There is an infinite amount of more. Years ago, I spent the summer at the University of Michigan studying with the great Robert Glasgow, universally regarded as one of the 20th century's finest interpreters of 19th century romantic music. At the end of the summer, Professor Glasgow gathered all his students for dinner at his home. After dinner, as he bade us farewell, he said, "I want to thank you, dear students, for all the lessons you have given me." So I end these words to you, my dear Lily. Thank you for your curiosity, your wonder, your openness, your genius, and your spirit of adventure. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you taught me. Thank you today and forever. You will always be my most important beloved of students. Thank you, my dear Lily.
And at family's request, are there any others who would like to share a few words at this time?
My name is Ike. I'm one of Lily's friends from high school. Played with her in the band for years. And then ended up at her with Berkeley. I remember she actually did her Berkeley audition in my basement, virtually. Still somehow managed to get full scholarship, which is amazing. But one of the first times I met Lily, I remember it must have been during lunch. I must have left to use the bathroom. And like as I was walking out, I just heard this music coming from the band room. Like this just like the most ridiculous tenor playing you've ever heard in your life. You know, coming from probably like a 14, 15-year-old. And I just remember thinking like, who is that? Who's while everyone else is eating lunch or, you know, talking on their phone, whatever, who's in there still working on their craft, you know, doing what they love, pursuing their passion. And later I found out that was Lily. She just inspired me so much. Her passion for music, her passion for life in general. She was unapologetically herself at any time. Anyone who knows her knows that. She didn't care what anyone had to think about her. She knew who she was, and she didn't let anyone take that away from her. Anyone shine out her light, anyone try to bring her down. And I try to bring that with me every day. I think we all do. I think anyone who knows her, I just want you guys to take that away, that whoever you are, whatever you care about, if something is important to you, do not let anyone take that away. That's something she taught me. Yeah, on behalf of me and everyone in the band from Hall, I just want to send prayers and love to the family, Lori, Jacob. I know this is devastating to go through, but we're here for you. We love you guys. And she'll be with me in every note I play, every song I write, and every word I speak from now till forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? This gentleman. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rabbi. My name is Anita Levy. I have the greatest honor to have been Lily's first teacher. Because Lily had the most phenomenal mom who came to me, I was the family educator here at Bethel a few years ago, and Lily's wonderful mother had just given birth to her daughter at that time. And she came to me and said, we need to have a Mommy and Me program here at Bethel. And I said, a great idea. And Lori and I got together, and a few other moms, we wrote a grant, and we got that program. And it was called Building Blocks to Judaism, and it was my pride to run that program. And so I got a wonderful friendship with Lily and her brother, Jacob, through the years. And Lori and I have had a very close relationship for all those beautiful years, and we've developed so many programs and so much work we've done here at Bethel together. But what I'd like to say is, so I had Lily as an infant. I mean, literally crawling on the floor, correct, Lori? I mean, and when she had her first birthday, Lori invited me to come, and I brought a little book, and all the little kids sat on the floor, and we had her party to celebrate her life. Later on in life, a few years down the road, she entered the 6th grade, and I was her teacher for the 6th and 7th grade, and I helped prepare her for her bar mitzvah. And it was just my joy, always, always to be with her, to be her teacher. I'll never forget her as a student. She was just so in love with everything Judaic, asked so many questions. I would see Lori at the Kiddush, and she'd say, oh, she's got another question, what about this? And she'd take me aside, she's asking me these questions, and, can you help me answer them? And just always so enthusiastic, brilliant, brilliant mind, and I'm just, Lori, with all my heart. You too. I give you all my love, all my support, anything I can do for you. Jacob, you know I love you with all my heart as well. You're both so special to me. Just know that I'm here, and you know.
Hello, my name is David. I'm Ben's younger brother, and I play the bass. And I had, hello. I'm not sure if I'm close enough. I had the honor of playing with Lily a lot. I was in the KP Jazz Band with her. I was in like Muzak Cubed, later renamed Eternal Hexagon, which was the private combo group that she organized. I went to the Litchfield Jazz Camp with her. I was in concert jazz band and jazz 2 with her. I also was able to play in an ensemble she organized 2 summers ago. And yeah, she was very, very inspiring. She always pushed us. I remember in the combo group, I was in 8th grade and she was a freshman, and there was this song called Cheeks by John DeVersa, and the jazz band was playing it in the high school. And she brought the piece to our combo group and arranged it for us. And for me, it was really scary because I had never played a high school level jazz chart, but we were able to do it, and like Lily was just able to push me and make me a musician that I don't think I thought I was even capable of becoming. And like we talked about giant steps. I remember that night we were gonna play in the center, and I remember practicing, like printing out the bass line and trying to practice the music. I couldn't play the bass line at the right tempo. My fingers were hurting. Like I was dragging. I couldn't do it. And I remember showing up to the gig, and I think we tried to play it, and it was an absolute disaster, except for Lily, because Lily was able to play it, but no one else could play it. But I mean, now I can play that song. Like I can walk a bass line on giant steps. Like I don't need to be reading the notes. So I find it really inspiring that Lily was able to see something in like all the musicians she's around that you might not see in yourself. And that was really inspiring for me. And then I just want to leave off, I guess, on a story about the last time I saw Lily. So I didn't see her after 2 summers ago, except for this past semester. I go to school in Boston. I go to Boston University, and I was going to the Harvard Arboretum, so you have to take the green line and then the orange line. But I walk onto the green line T, and I go to sit down, and I see Lily just standing there with her saxophone, and we had the chance to talk for a little bit. And I was a little intimidated to be honest, because she was talking about how she was in 10 ensembles, and I was not comprehending what she was saying, to be honest. She was making new instruments or something and doing some kind of electronic experimentation, but she seemed really passionate and really happy about it. And I'm glad that I was able to leave her on a positive note. And it's really unfortunate that the last time as I stepped off the tee, that was the last time I would have seen her. I guess I don't have any more to say, but thank you.
Thank you also so very, very much.
I just want to say thank you to all of her friends that came up here, because it took a lot of courage to come up here and talk, and it really was meaningful to me to hear like how much you all love her. So I just wanted to thank all of you, okay? Thank you.
This is a day that, by right, should be consumed by simple and unbridled joy in the Jewish calendar. The last day of Hanukkah, marked by the kindling of 8 candles, the full menorah last night. But instead, we are plunged into the darkness of bewildering loss and grief. How to absorb the reality of Lily no longer being amongst us. This sudden and shocking absence that is at the same time thick with the presence of pain. There is a groan of pain that emerges from within us all, in Hebrew known as an anacha, a wordless scream, a sigh, something that accompanies flowing tears and broken hearts. There is, of course, as we have all heard and so many of us know profoundly, there is no thinking of Lily without imagining her with music. So much a part of this community, this building, this room, is Lily's presence, as Cantor Ness described, as Anita described, and others, within these walls, the production, the composition, the sharing, the playing of music. We recall, many of us, the time when she became a B'nai Mitzvah, when that morning was marked, yes, by uncertainty about some strange weather, and at the same time, the reality that this is fundamentally a musical experience, to stand on this bima and to declare at the age 13, I am now a Jewish adult. And of course, she nailed it. Which is no surprise to anyone. And the words we shared with her at that time were with respect to a single Hebrew letter, the Vav, which is a connector, a simple connector between those things that are large and those things that are small. And Lily brought the great depth of her very, very large soul into everything that she did, even the tiniest thing. I recall some years ago, Lori, when we were on a family trip, Jacob, trip to Israel, anytime a piano was available, they made a beeline to simply be there, to be with the music, and she played magnificently. She was always the happiest when behind a saxophone or playing the keys in front of her. She was skilled, she was talented, Carnegie Hall twice by a very young age, doing so not only with talent, but also this coolness under pressure, a capacity Lily had to bring to this world a contrast to today's vibrant and verdant poetry of expression and the desert of painful sadness. She was the garden. Lori, you gave her life. You gave her hope. You urged her forward and did anything and everything you possibly could to affirm within Lily that wonderful seed of beauty that was always there. You urged her, encouraged her to move on from UConn. The world of law was not her place to be, but to go to Berkeley and to that very different world of Boston and Berkeley and the world of music and jazz composition, that where she was at home. In so many ways, there she blossomed, as we have heard. And you too, Jacob, as a support, as someone who shared so much with her, even in life, as you perhaps saw things a bit differently from your vantage point, but we know how painful this time is for you as well. Lily was creative and brilliant. She was also an organizer, a leader. She would take a task and pull things together. And she was also a fearless advocate for that which mattered to her, spreading awareness of gender-related issues of nonconformity in the world of music. In the aftermath of October 7th of last year, holding firm in her Jewish identity, often explaining the importance of Israel as the lifeblood of the Jewish people. She was passionate, she was smart, and so sadly, in so many ways for Lily, the world just hurt. And it often hurt a lot. We are here to embrace her life, not to judge her death. We are here to embrace this grieving family and to nurture all that she was from every single day of Lily's 21 all too brief years, the beauty she created that will live on. The proverbial unfinished symphony of her days leaves us with sadness for that which would not come to be, but we still cherish that which she created. We are saddened by the hurts and lifted up by her dreams and gifts. Let the lights of her life continue to shine, and together with our dear bereaved, we will make of her memory a deep and an abundant blessing. Please rise at this time, friends, for the memorial prayer, the Eloah Slichot.
Eloah Slichot, Hanun v'rachum, Erech apayim v'rav chesed, Hameseich aparat pesha, V'akravat yesham nucha nechona, Tachat kanfei השכינה, במעלות קדושים תורים, כזוהר הרקיע מסעירים. את נשמת ליפה בת דוד ורחל, שהלכה לעולמה. אנא בעל הרחמים, זכרה לה לטובה. כל זכויותיה וצדקותיה בארצות החיים, הובטח לה שערי צדק יורה, שערי חמלה וחנינה. בסתר כנפיה אסתיריה לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר
God of forgiveness, you who are gracious and compassionate, patient and abundantly kind, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Lily Yontif, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that you remember all the worthy and righteous deeds she performed. May our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen.
At this time, we invite our mourners and all who wish to join in recitation of Mourner's Kaddish. If you would like to follow, it is also available in the smaller red books in front of us. Page 207, page 207, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemeh rabah Bialma divra chirute v'amlich malchute b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen yehi shmei rabam v'arach li'alam u'lalmei amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kutsha b'rilchu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. In just a few moments, everyone is invited to join together with family for a meal of consolation in the community room out these doors to the right and to the left, during which time you'll have the opportunity to offer additional words of comfort to Lori, to Jacob, and to family. Shiva will also be observed at the Yontif home, 10 Wampanoag, on beginning Saturday evening through Tuesday evening, calling hours between 6 and 8 p.m. each night, and there will be a service at 7 p.m. on Saturday through Tuesday evenings as well. And during the course of our coming together in the community room in a few moments, we will interrupt briefly for the brief Mincha afternoon service to enable our mourners to recite the Kaddish at that time as well. We are grateful to everyone, and we'll invite family, if you would like to leave at this time, to greet your friends and loved ones in the community room.